Alright, Math 3, Unit 1, Lesson Practice 1.3.2, Designing Surveys, Experiments, and Observational Studies. So number 1, the owner of a tourist, instructions first. For each of the following situations, design an appropriate study to find the desired information. State whether your study is a survey, experiment, or observational study. So the owner of a tourist attraction on a tropical island wants to know the average daily temperature for the island so she can use it in her advertising. So this one should be pretty simple, right? That you're going to observe the temperature. You can't really control it. So you just want to observe it for a period of time. Okay? Especially times of years, so you could give kind of averages and stuff like that. You know, I think it would be useful to do it for a full year and then start using it. So you can say, oh, in this month we average around here this much temperature and whatnot, and even add more information than that. Okay, number 2. A teacher would like to add student evaluation data to her portfolio. Okay. So she wants the students, I'm assuming in this, to evaluate her, which would be a survey, right? She could create I don't know why I said she, her. She could create a survey that would then, given to the students, and then she could keep it to show what that evaluation data was. And these could be multiple choice questions, like, do you agree, disagree, how comfortable are you, a lot of different things, or also some open-ended ones that she could include. 3. A nursing home administrator would like to include patient satisfaction rates in a new brochure with comparisons to satisfaction rates at 5 local competing nursing homes. So, a survey here would be a great one to go with again, right? Because you're looking for satisfaction rates. So a survey, maybe you try to get all of them, but most likely you'd probably do a sample survey and get only some, write up some questions that have to do with it. And then try to get them to be given at the other ones as well, because you'd want to, if you're trying to compare it, you would need it from more than just your own. Okay, number 4. The dean of students at a local college must report on how a new freshman orientation course has impacted student grade point averages. So if we're looking at this one, a survey wouldn't necessarily work because you're looking at the grade points. You can't really ask a question other than what is it, okay? So you could try an observation. I think you could do an observational study to try to see how students who took the course differ from those that didn't, but it would be even better if you could do that as an experiment, because then you could control all the variables in an experiment, whereas an observation you wouldn't, and maybe grade point averages would be affected by something different. Maybe the students who decided to take the orientation course are better students, and they're putting forth that effort to take it and to do better, so their grade point averages might go up just because of the fact that they're getting more involved. And it may not be the course, it may be other aspects that would change it. So an experiment would probably be a better choice for on that one. Number 5. A dietitian has 100 clients and would like to compare weight loss results for 2 different diet plans. So we're looking at 2 different diet plans. So once again, an experiment, because you want to control everything but the diet plans. Okay? You want to make sure that that's what is causing the weight loss, not something else. And the results. So an experiment where you could control that would be the best option. And that would be the one you would want to look into and create so that it would work. A school guidance counselor wants to know if teenagers' music preferences have an effect on their self-esteem. Okay, so we're trying to draw some effects, but it would be tough to do a experiment here, just because there's a lot of issues here. You could do an observation where you're just watching what music they have, but I think a more useful method would actually be to do a survey on this one, to ask their self-esteem levels, to ask about what music they do, and try to draw conclusions based on the information presented. Number 7, a consultant for a major metropolitan hospital wants to determine the impact on patients, finances, and medical staff of delaying the transfer of patients out of the intensive care unit. Okay. So, you could try to do an experiment, but the nature of the job might make it difficult to choose because it could be harmful for some if you let them out sooner. So it might be better to do an observation because people will be kept in the intensive care unit at different times, so you'll have that kind of automatically taken into account. And so being able to view how it affects people might be an easier way to get the information rather than doing an experiment. Okay. A town manager wants to know, how likely are town residents to vote in favor of a proposal to build a new performing arts theater? So, this one would be pretty simple. Okay, you'd probably want to do a survey, right? And just ask them, are you in favor or not? Most likely you won't be able to do the whole town, depending on the size, but if you're building a new performing arts theater, you probably have a pretty big town, so it would most likely be a sample survey. And most surveys are sample surveys, by the way. So number 9, a group of students want to know the average number of hours. Whoa, I don't know where I got houses from. Let's just start that one over. A group of students wants to know the average number of hours students at their school spend on homework during their senior year. So looking at this one, we could try to do an observation. That would be nice, right? To actually see how many hours, but that would be tough to observe it without impacting the fact that you were observing. So a better idea would probably be a survey, and have them rate themselves on the time they spend on their homework. Questions that go along with that. And then you can use that information to figure things out. A marketing executive for a grocery store chain wants to know which brand of dish detergent the store's customers prefer, the nationally advertised brand or the store brand. Well, since you're in the store chain, you can probably just gather all the data of look at records. How many do we have to buy? Which one do we have to buy more of? How many get sold? Because they're getting checked out, you're able to observe without messing things up which brand is bought more often, and you can use that. So an observation would be your best option there to just observe how much is bought and when. Alright, here we go.